Alright, what's up, y'all? So this is going to be my review of Dirge of Cerberus. Um, I think I'll put on a trailer while I'm doing it. I can put on some cutscenes too, actually. We'll start with the trailer, So, alright. Overall, I would say it was a lot better than I was expecting. Um, I was thinking that it was going to be um, kind of like a half-baked game, I want to say, like something that didn't really seem like it's of the quality of Square Enix. But I would say, in fact, that it was exactly what I would have wanted or expected, actually, out of a Final Fantasy VII game. I thought that um, it's kind of like weird that they didn't include the other of the 7 characters more, like Cloud, Tifa, Barrett, and such. But I thought that overall that the cutscenes, music, story, all of it lined up. The only thing I think that people might have had a problem with was the gameplay, which is vastly different than they've done with anything, especially in RPGs, with making it a shooter. So let's talk about the gameplay mechanics. So this is like their only attempts to do something like this. I would say, were they successful? Well, I would say the game itself obviously wasn't, I would think, as successful as they were hoping it would be. Though I think that it was still a really good game. I think that the lore, or no, I'm not going to talk about the lore yet. I thought that I was playing this on controller, so you can actually play this game with mouse and keyboard. There is instructions or whatever. There is a layout for keyboard and mouse in the instruction manual, so you definitely can do that, and that is a totally viable option as well. Though I'm not thinking many people would want to, but I played it on normal, so I can wonder how much harder the hard version would be, but there were a lot of times where I was feeling like that I was getting like kind of like cheap shotted. But yeah. So the targeting system, I guess, is the topic. So like when you're hovering, so I use the semi-automatic setting. If you're like hovering over an enemy, it kind of it has like a lock-on type mechanic, like a soft lock-on. It's a like a red circle will appear where the enemy would be, or where it detects an enemy is, and this is within a green circle, and the green circle is like you're targeting, like your big circle targeting. And then the red circle inside is like, that is where the enemy is. So, does it hold up? Well, I guess, how do I feel about that? That is a good system overall. I thought that it was, I wouldn't really have asked for more. The camera being on the right stick was not a normal thing for PlayStation or PlayStation 2, I don't think. I don't think that was completely established by then, as the second stick. And I gotta think that this was like really revolutionary, because you don't really have any third person action games, I believe, on the PS2 doing this kind of setup. So I could be wrong about that, but that's how I felt. At least I never played any games like that. So does it hold up for today? I would say yes. I thought that the gameplay does hold up. It doesn't feel clunky or old or anything. I thought that it really holds up. And yeah, it overall was a good time. So you might wonder what's like, how's the materia system or the magic system? So it's really simple. There's fire, ice, and thunder, and they don't make it too much more complicated. It's a very simple game when it comes to the setup, which is fine for me. Fire's like an AoE, blizzard's like a targeted thing that I never really used, and lightning's like more like a cone damage attack. And it basically just gets stronger versions of that, and that's pretty much it with the magic. So it didn't really feel like it was like they were just throwing magic into a shooter or something. Like it felt like a good part of the game. It felt like natural. As far as like the equipment and stuff, so you can choose to get EXP, or you can choose to get gil, which you can spend on upgrades each time you complete a mission in the story. And depending on how well you did in the mission, you can get more gil and bonus gil and stuff like that. And your ranking will go up higher, and you get more EXP as well. And you kind of want to alternate that between like EXP and gil for each mission, basically, so it ends up kind of evening out for the most part. The parts and stuff that you use to upgrade it are not too interesting, which is fine. I'm not really a huge like needing the equipment to be different type person. But I thought that overall the weapon system was good. It was very kind of simple, and I feel like a lot of people might, today at least, might not be okay with that, but for me, for this time, it was fine. So I feel like the level design and pacing for everything was really good. There's no time where I felt like, oh man, and this is really lagging and taking forever, or it always felt like there was a good story beat around the corner. Overall, I'd say I really enjoyed the pacing and everything like that. Okay, so that's kind of about the mechanics and everything. So now let's talk about the lore. So this is the whole reason I played the game, really, was because of the lore. Final Fantasy VII and doing everything. So there's actually a multiplayer section of this game that never came out in America, and it's only in Japan. It was only in Japan for like a little while, and it was only until basically it was pretty much done by the time it came out in America. Speaking of lore, that's Genesis right there in the trailer. And I thought that overall the lore was kind of, I don't know, it's definitely Nomura-esque, but it's not crazy bad. Not bad. That's not much to say bad. It's not crazy like super introverted, where it's like light and dark and hearts and stuff like that. It's actually pretty understandable. But I think that there's a lot of Lucretia stuff with Vincent, which is good. That's what you want to lean into. So they basically like they kind of told me what I wanted to know. I don't know if I want to talk about spoilers in this. I guess I can give like light infos. But basically it goes into Vincent's past. Vincent's kind of like a really simple dude in 7. Like you don't really know anything about him. I don't know how they change things about in Rebirth, but when I'll play that, I'll have an opinion on that. But he basically is like a one kind of note guy, feeling bad about how everything is with Lucretia, that it was his fault or whatever, and that's kind of like the one thing you know about him. So this gives him a lot more depth, and he becomes like an actual kind of person. Though he doesn't still really have much more of a personality. It's kind of goes in line with his previous, edgelord type behavior. Do I think he carried the game in a good way? Yes. I think that he was a good character to make a one single game about. I think that it was a good choice. Like if it was about Kate Sith or something, I'd probably not be too happy about it. And there's lots to go into with Chaos and how did he become the way he is, and they really answer all of that for the most part. And it's not like there's a good guy, there's a bad guy, and it's like there's like, the ambiguity, which is good. So what is the story about? So it's there's this organization called Deep Ground that has apparently been hiding underneath Midgard this entire time, since like basically when 7 was happening and before that. And you actually see some of them in Intergrade. So, but basically they're Shinra's like deep dark secret. And they kind of are like, it's almost like a prison, but they do apparently go on missions outside sometimes. But basically they, it's like a prison essentially, and there's this one guy kind of like stopping them all from going anywhere. And this is all in the multiplayer version of the game. The deeper lore with that, where they kind of go into how these Fiats, which are these like 4 dudes that are really super strong compared to the rest of Deep Ground, kind of took over the whole place basically. And then they basically go on a rampage trying to do something. I don't know if I want to say what, but basically they have a goal they want to accomplish, and they need to kill a lot of people to do it in a way. So I don't go into that, but overall, I thought the story was good. I thought that it was, they do really kind of go into all the different details I would want to go into. So how well does the game handle his relationship with Lucretia? I would say I thought it did a good job. I thought it goes into the good topics. I can't really want to go into it, but basically I like the way that they took it, the direction with it. I'm talking about chaos and how he's like not in control of himself, and like it's also part of him and he needs it, and yeah. I like that they had Yuffie, Kate Sith, Reeve in there. They were kind of like the main 7 characters that were being talked about. Let's do this trailer again. I think this one's I didn't think that these like kind of side characters were bad to have in there rather than like Cloud, Tifa, Barrett. I think that they did a really good job with it, and they kind of were like brought some like jokiness to it that kind of Vincent could never provide, to kind of like lighten things up. I thought that it was a good mix. Yeah, and Yuffie's still Yuffie, so it's like, you know, always a good time with Yuffie, so. So yeah, I thought that, would you say that the CGI holds up today? I'd say it looks like Advent Children, which to say like, I'd say it holds up hella well. This was 20 years ago, and yes, I think that these scenes still look really impressive. I thought that everything is really good. Soundtrack. So Masahashi Hamauza composed the score, which was not Nobu Uematsu. I thought that the orchestra and electronic mix does fit the shooter vibe really well. I thought that it's really good. And Gact, who is singing this song right now that you can maybe hear a little bit, I think that it's really not played that much. It's like during the credits basically, and like really at the ends and the beginning trailer, basically, like the thing you're watching right now. But yeah, I thought that overall the soundtrack was really good. So since Weiss and Nero were in Crisis Core, and they're also in Intermission, in the remake, or Intergrade, Intermission, whatever. It's in the Yuffie portion. I want to replay remake to kind of have more say, like, is this essential reading basically or essential playing, before I officially say that. But I would say for me, yes, I'd say this is essential. Now Crisis Core got a remaster. Do I think Dirge of Cerberus deserves a remaster treatment? Or what would they do if they were going to remake it? I would say yes. I think you definitely could remake this game and people would like it today. I'm trying to think of how I would change it. So like, the controls are already really good. The frames definitely tank in certain situations. So obviously that would be completely 60 with a shooter. Like, you really want that to be smooth. So that would have to be definitely addressed. If they remade it in like UE5, I think that would work. Unreal Engine 5. Like, I haven't played like Uncharted or anything like that, but I'm thinking it would probably be something like that. That has to be a real person, right? When it's open the eye, like there's no way that's CGI, right? Um, if I just let this go, will it do the opening? I'm gonna see if it's gonna do the get out of this. So I think that would I say this is a like a flawed game? Or if I had to say, would I say it's a flawed game? No. I'd say it was exactly what it was meant to be. Now, I know when I was younger, when this came out, I didn't give it a chance because it wasn't an RPG. Simply that. I wasn't going to play a shooter, and also it was kind of like word of mouth, like, oh, no one's playing it. Like, you don't need to play it. But I think that if I had played it back then, I definitely would have enjoyed it. Now some of these missions are really freaking hard, and the guides out today, and like I'm glad that I watched a couple guides for the extra missions, but the story and stuff, no, that would have been fine. I might have even done like the extra hard stuff. I would have like gone through that and done all that, like, but also finding all those memory module things would have been a pain in my ass. I might not even have gotten them all. I might have just gave up and just did the story. But I can see this definitely being like replayable, like Resident Evil. Oh yeah, it is going to do the trailer. Nice. So I don't think the controls are janky. I'm just kind of jumping around here. I don't think the controls are janky. I thought that it was not good that the FPS was low. But overall, I would say that it was highly ambitious game. I thought the soundtrack's great, action's great. I would say that I don't think there's anything massively wrong with it. I think they should remake it. And to all the people asking or saying to me when I was saying that I was going to play this game to instead watch a YouTube video, well, I am that YouTube video. I made the YouTube video. I've done all of the content and uploaded it all. So that one of the comments was, watch it on YouTube and laugh. I didn't laugh ironically at this game one time. Like, it was a good game. I'm glad I played it. I don't regret a single moment of it at all. So, and that's just for me, you know. I'm sure there's other people out there that would find other types of games not as good or better than this. But if you're a deep lore nerd like me, you want to know everything about Final Fantasy, go into it all the way, I would say, yeah, I thought this was a really good entry in the series. And yeah, so I'm excited to get into Remake again, play that through again, 100% it, this time on PC with mods and stuff. And it's going to be fun. So that is my review. I would say if I had to give it a number, because I like to do that, for me, I would say this was a 8.5 out of 10. I would say I was very pleased with the game. So, but I'm gonna enjoy remake. I would say remake when I played through that first time. That was on PS4. First time, I would say yeah, it was. I'd say that's a 9.5, something like that, maybe 10. But anyway, I will see y'all very shortly in the next one, which will be my playthrough of Remake on PC, which will be with 4K texture mod. All the basically like everything running on my 5090 9800X 3D. It's gonna be a good time. So, and it got a whole bunch of edits, so there shouldn't be any jank. It looks like it's gonna be smooth sailing. And I might even do some of those whatchamacallit, graphic mods, like fun mods, make characters wear different things or something like that. But anyway, thank y'all for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one.